Welcome everyone to our first council meeting of November. Want to comment on our big crowd that we have today? Something must have happened this week why nobody's here. Not quite sure what it might be. But I'm hoping people are watching from home. With that, Madam Clerk, will you please read the adequate notice of compliance statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the City Clerk's Office in preparation of the Council Annual Meeting Notice dated December 16, 2024, which was properly distributed and posted per statutory requirements. Please be advised that fire exits are to my right, your left, and at the back of the room. The City has a listening system to assist the hearing impaired. If anyone needs hearing assistance, please obtain the system at the dais and return it thereafter.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Present.
Ms. Hamlet?
Present.
Ms. Kalmanson? Mr. Pulowski?
Here.
Mr. Smallwood?
Here.
Ms. Toth?
Here.
President McTiernan.
Present. All right. At this time, I'd like to call on Ms. Bonnie Morrison to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Bonnie. All right. At this time, Madam Clerk, would you be so kind as to read the explanatory note regarding closed session hearings and comments?
A closed session meeting as authorized by state statute was announced and held prior to the start of this meeting, and the known items for discussion were listed on the published closed session agenda. Please be advised that council meetings are broadcast live on Comcast channels 34 and 36 and Verizon channel 30, and rebroadcast on Thursdays and Saturdays on HTTV on Comcast 36 and Verizon 33. When invited to speak, please come to the lectern. Clearly state your name and address, spell your last name, and speak into the podium microphone so that your comments can be understood by all and properly recorded. Whenever an audience or council member reads from a prepared statement, please give or email a copy to the city clerk at cityclerks@cityofsummit.org. To help facilitate an orderly meeting and to permit all to be heard, speakers shall limit their comments to 3 minutes. Unless you're using an electronic device to follow the meeting agenda or need it for professional emergency contact purposes, please turn it off. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, do I have a motion to approve the regular and closed session meeting minutes of October 21st, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're on the reports section of our meeting. Madam Mayor, do you have a report for us this evening?
Indeed. Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. First, for Veterans Day, we'll be honoring our veterans on Tuesday, November 11th at 9:15 on the Village Green. Please come out and hear from some of our local veterans, myself and Councilwoman Hamlet, as we pay tribute to those who have served our nation. Refreshments will be served afterward, and it's always a meaningful morning for our community. Home Security 101 is next Wednesday, November 12th, here at 7 p.m. in City Hall. Our own officer, David Katiga, will lead the session, sharing practical tips on how to secure your home and protect against common vulnerabilities. It's a great opportunity to learn how to keep your family and your property safe. He came to my house, and I got a dog out of it. So for those of you who are looking for a puppy, great opportunity. And very important, please be sure to participate in the Other Fellow First Foundation's annual turkey drive and their 25th anniversary celebration on November 23rd. It's a Sunday right before Thanksgiving from 1 to 4 in front of the Summit Diner. Bring a frozen turkey to donate to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, and stay to enjoy, and also perishables, and they will take monetary donations as well. And it's a great way, stay to enjoy music, fun activities, first responder vehicles for the kids to explore. It's a great way to give back and celebrate this longstanding community tradition. And lastly, I want to thank every candidate who ran in our local election. I will reserve my congratulations until the county certifies the results, but I want to thank every single person who raised their hand. I know it's a lot of work, and I know that everyone worked tirelessly for the last several months connecting with voters and residents. So it's a really demanding role, and it requires countless hours of volunteerism. And I know that every person, candidates and volunteers behind them alike, they want to serve because they care so deeply about our community and they want what's best for our residents. So as mayor, I look forward to continuing to collaborate with our council to move Summit forward, and I really want to extend my deepest gratitude to all of the candidates and the folks that help them along. Thank you.
Thank you. Great report. All right. At this stage, Ms. Baldwin, do you have a city administrator report for us today?
I do. Thank you, Council President. Summit Free Market will be held this month on Saturday, November 8th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on Friday, November 21st from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at the transfer station. Summit residents with a parking disposal permit can attend and browse donated items, take what they want for free, and also donate. Their donation guidelines are available at cityofsummit.org/free market. Please note that due to Thanksgiving, the Friday event will be taking place on the third Friday of the month instead of the fourth Friday. City Hall will be closed next week on Tuesday, November 11th for Veterans Day. Tuesday is also a parking holiday in Summit with no fees required for on-street parking or parking in the municipal lots and garages. There is no change to the trash or recycling collections. Lastly, milling and paving. PSE&G and New Jersey American Water are continuing milling and paving projects throughout town, in case you haven't noticed, with work scheduled to continue tomorrow and Friday and early next week. We update the schedules on the city website daily as we receive new information about the projects from the utilities. They do change often, so stay tuned and check out that schedule. You can view that online at cityofsummit.org/fall25 paving. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. I've got a short report this evening. One, an update on our affordable housing, as I've been giving every council meeting. We're still going through the process. We are meeting with developers to talk to them about where we might have some opportunities to agree and get a little closer to what they want versus what we desire for the city. That process is continuing. There is no scheduled mediation meeting set up. I think if you guys go back and listen to my comments from a month or so ago, there was supposed to be this process where we would meet with the court master. None of that's been scheduled yet. The thought was we would have another mediation center or meeting with our mediator. That will probably happen, but when we hear about it, we'll let you guys hear about it. So the process continues. So I would ask everyone who's interested to keep in touch, and we'll get through this. The other thing I want to do is I want to echo Madam Mayor's thanks to all the candidates who ran. The results are still being certified, and this is part of our process. Our clerk, I want to thank her. She counts all the votes. So it's a big job, and she was here late last night making sure everything ran smoothly. She does a fantastic job, not just during the general elections, but the primaries as well. So we are in good hands that people who vote in Summit can really rest assured that their vote matters and will be counted. And that's a real tribute. And we're lucky to have Rosie doing that for us. There is, though, a lot of mail-in ballots and early ballots. The mail-in ballots are still coming in, which is why I think the county hasn't officially certified the election. When they're all in, we'll know the final results. I will say more when that happens. I do want to thank our residents, though. Turnout was massive. It was big. I tell my students, this is the single best way to express your views in the best way possible. It's built into our system. It's a right that we have to vote. A lot of people in our nation don't get that right, or not our nation, on our planet don't get that right. We're lucky that we do, and it was great to see that many people come out and express their right through our election process yesterday, and I'm proud of our Summit citizens for doing that. And then the last thing I want to say, around Veterans Day next week, if you see a veteran, thank them for their service. It's super, super important. One of the reasons we do get to vote in elections is because of what our veterans do to keep us safe and free. That's a real freedom, and we should thank veterans for providing that. And I want to start with that and thank you, Councilwoman Hamlet, for your service.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Council President, I wanted to say, real quick, for those of you in the audience, we have a really special guest speaker, Purple Heart, young gentleman who moved into town, and he couldn't be more of a hero to this town, probably the most highly decorated veteran that we have. So if you have an opportunity, it's a real special opportunity. And just as a reminder, kids are allowed to miss school for a couple of events. One is Veterans Day, and the other one is you can do it to take your kids to school or something. So for me, if I'm not sure I'm going to be here on Tuesday now, I may be going away after a much long campaign season. But I do recommend, I've invited some of the elementary schools to come because I think it's really important to show the kids the value of service and honoring our veterans. So.
Yeah, and thank you again, Councilwoman Hamlet. And that is my report. Okay. At this stage, Councilman Pulowski, do we have a historical minute?
We do. This one I did not write. This was written by my favorite history teacher from Summit High School, Art Cottrell. Did you have him?
Art Cottrell. I know.
Jamel, did he retire by the time you got there? Mr. Cottrell? All right.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Remember, you're like 8 years older than
4. Just 4.
Don't even say.
Well, it's called a Summit Role in the American Revolution. While there wasn't an area known as Summit during the American Revolution, since it wasn't officially established until 1869, there is an area in the present Summit which played a very important role in the conclusion of our war for independence. The action at the area of the present-day municipal golf course was the site of a hoax perpetrated by General George Washington, which kept the British commander, Sir Henry Clinton, headquartered in New York City, fearful of possible moves by Washington. Clinton had a large force in New York with which he was carefully watching Washington's forces in New Jersey, as well as in New York State and Rhode Island. Meanwhile, the British General Lord Cornwallis was moving his forces into Virginia with the hope of closing out the war in the summer of 1781. In the meantime, Washington and the French General Comte de Rochambeau had been planning a joint campaign against Clinton in New York. As Cornwallis moved his troops into Yorktown, Washington decided to make a major change in his plans and make Cornwallis his target rather than Clinton in New York. Somehow, a hoax had to be developed in order to hold Clinton in New York while Washington and Rochambeau headed south to take on Cornwallis in Virginia. What could be done? It would not be an easy task. Washington circulated rumors of an imminent siege of New York and allowed secret documents and letters portraying this deception to be captured. This was a time when there was a significant number of British spies in New Jersey. To support the misleading reports, Washington had a field near New York City, an area which now holds Summit's municipal golf course, converted into what appeared to be a permanent encampment for a large body of troops. Storehouses and a bakery large enough to supply a daily bread ration for 3,000 men were built in 10 days by French troops stationed there. The brick ovens for the bread were housed within a 66-foot shed located 200 feet east of River Road and a short distance from and parallel to the highway from Elizabeth to Morristown, known then as the King's Highway. I think that's probably now 24. This was an area which the British were familiar with as they had fought in nearby land at the Battle of Springfield the previous summer. The exact site of the bakery, it is believed now, is covered by the present, since 1962, alignment and shoulder of the South Service Road of Interstate 24. Clinton had become convinced that the camp, with its brick ovens, gave a sense of permanence, would become the staging area for an attack by Washington on New York City from New Jersey. Clinton decided to strengthen his position in New York and not to send any reinforcements to Cornwallis in Yorktown. When the French Navy under Admiral de Grasse was able to block off the British Navy from bringing supplies to Cornwallis through the Chesapeake Bay area, Washington and Rochambeau were ready to leave for the South. Interestingly, the French troops were not assigned to the campsite in Summit, even though the bakeries were built by French artisans. American troops occupied the Summit site while the bakeries were operated by French bakers, and the bread baked in Summit was sent to the French troops on their march to Virginia. The American and French troops divided into 3 separate groups until they reached Princeton. Then they crossed the Delaware at Trenton and continued south through Philadelphia. The line of march, as the troopers went through the Philadelphia, was over 2 miles long. The Army reached Williamsburg in 28 days, a distance of 400 miles from the New Jersey-New York area. The siege of Yorktown, which was to begin shortly after, was to bring the American Revolution to a close, although it took 2 more years before the peace treaty was signed in Paris. Clinton had been thoroughly misled and failed to take the steps that would have thwarted Washington's plan and helped the British cause. After the war, Clinton in his writings alluded to the strong camp behind the Passaic River with its French bakery, now Summit's golf course, which is one of Summit's 5 Revolutionary War sites. Truly, Washington's hoax had played an important role in concluding the war in 1781.
Right, very
So
good.
think about that the next time you go to the Muni.
Maybe we should put a plaque there or something like that.
Yeah.
Site of the French bakery. Yeah. Thank you very much, Councilman Pulowski. All right, we're on to a presentation section of our meeting, and we are lucky enough to have a presentation this evening. I'd like to introduce Gigi Robinson, who's a mental health advocate, and she's going to speak to us today about helping children with chronic illness. So welcome, Ms. Robinson.
I hope this is this good? Can you guys hear me all right? Oh,
That's good.
sorry. Okay. I don't normally use these things. Anyway, so nice to be here. I can't wait to meet all of you, hopefully. I have been in Summit for just over a year. So I have to say, I was a born and raised New Yorker, and I really love Summit a lot. When people ask where I live, I do still say New York, and they say where? And I say Summit, New Jersey. And they say, do you like it? And I'm like, don't tell anyone. I love it.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you for all the work you're doing. I have loved living here for the past year, and hopefully many more to come. Before I introduce myself a little, just by a show of hands, how many of you either live with a chronic illness or know somebody with one? Okay. That seems like a decent amount of people here in this room tonight. So to paint a picture for you, I got diagnosed with a condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome when I was 11 years old. And if you haven't heard of that, essentially that's like a hair tie or a rubber band that lost its elasticity, except it's not a rubber band, it's the muscles in my body and the ligaments that hold the joints and all that together. And so my family grew up trying to figure out why I was in so much chronic pain and what was going on with my body, why I kept getting hurt in gym class, why I couldn't continue competitive swimming because my shoulders hurt at the age of 11 years old. Until I went to doctors that figured that out, and they said to my parents, you know, your daughter has this thing called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and she's gonna have to just do things a little differently. Now, when you're an 11-year-old child, and your parents all of a sudden give you a piece of paper that your doctor wrote to give to your gym teacher and your teachers that basically says you have to use an iPad, a wheeling backpack, the elevator, and you can't play gym class. Imagine what that did to little old me when everybody was looking at me saying, you look fine. Nothing's wrong with you. You look like a completely normal person. Why do you get to use the elevator? Why do you get to use the iPad? Why do you get to, not do gym class? And I turned to art at that time. And so if you have a child that is dealing with a health issue, they may start expressing themselves in ways that maybe they're not verbal, maybe they're not direct, and maybe they don't even understand what they're doing, which I found in my many years of doing art that I didn't really realize what I was doing until I was in college, and I was struggling with these same exact issues. I was waking up at 5:30 to commute in Los Angeles out to Cedars-Sinai for physical therapy or a doctor's appointment before my 8 a.m. classes. And my teacher said the same thing. Gigi, like, you look fine. You're managing a full course load. You've got your internships. What is going on? And there was no other way to explain to them what I was struggling with than to document it. So my claim to fame on the internet and now doing public speaking is really showing my struggle online and inspiring other people to advocate for themselves, not in a way that's pushy, not in a way that is asking for attention, but in a way that genuinely makes an impact for me, for other people, and for families across the world. And that's why I wrote my children's book, a kid's book about chronic illness, and that is detailing a lot of my story. The reason I met Bobby at the dog park, which I know this is not the talk, but I love the dog park. It would be really great if you guys can make that happen. But I met Bobby at the dog park and kind of mentioned a little bit about my career, how I work online, how I talk at a lot of places. This is my first council meeting, so it'll be good to know more about how you guys do these things in the future. But I wrote the children's book really to help parents and to help teachers even understand when students are dealing with an invisible illness and how to support them. And really, that is kind of what I just wanted to come here to talk to you about, to see what kind of programs are happening for both teachers, for parents, and for kids struggling with chronic health issues, and hopefully inspire people to push beyond what an illness can look like and really just recognize that invisible health conditions are a challenge for the child, for the parents, and for everyone in their community. So that's really what I have to say. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you. Any questions from council?
Just-
Councilman Boyer?
Just one. Do you have a YouTube channel or?
Yeah, so you can find me. You can go to my website. It's just my name, gigirobinson.com. My handle on social media is the @ the word it's, and then Gigi Robinson. So it reads it's Gigi Robinson. But if you just type up Gigi Robinson, you're going to get someone else. So you have to have the word it's in front of it. And yes, I do have YouTube.
We'll probably be watching your videos like all night now, you know.
Yeah, and I do also talk a little bit about future of work and kind of how chronic illness inspired me to work for myself the past 5 years, graduating during the pandemic, moving from California, New York to California, back to New York, and now Summit, New Jersey, working for myself here, having different LLCs that I'm running and doing all of this while managing my health. So I love talking about the future of work as it relates to health because I made my own dream possible. So yeah, thank
Other
you.
comments? Councilman Pulowski?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you. We'll definitely clip your presentation here and forward it over to the nurses and people at school. And if there's anybody who is suffering from a chronic illness, they'll be able to direct them to you and hopefully help somebody.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for
I would say,
possible.
just want to close with, thank you for sharing your story. I know this is kind of what you're doing now, but I bet it wasn't easy to start out with. So really appreciate you doing that and putting yourself out there like that. Particularly around how you link physical health with mental health.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people forget that those two things can really be, are co-joined.
They are.
And so I appreciate you doing that, and I would encourage people to use this as a resource if anyone from our community is has a person that they know and love who are going through this. So thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Of course, and also on the note of mental health, I have a 60-minute sit-down that I did with the JED Foundation. So you can go look up JED Voices, Gigi Robinson, and I sat down there and we talked all about invisible illness, what that means in school, personal life, self-development, relationships, and family. So that might be a helpful resource as well that directly works with their work around suicide prevention and mental health.
Great.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. We've now are on to our ordinance for hearing section of our meeting. We do have two that are on the agenda that we're going to talk about. Madam Clerk, will you please read the Capital Projects and Community Service Ordinance 25-3359?
An ordinance amending the Code of the City of Summit, Chapter 35, Development Regulations Ordinance, Article 7, Terminology, various subsections of Article 9, General Zoning Provisions, Article 14, Design and Performance Requirements, and relocating the Development Design Guidelines from Attachment 1 to Part 2 zoning.
Thank you so much. Councilwoman Hamlet, I understand there's a story about this ordinance.
Yes, so the planning board at our last meeting decided to hold off on this. They want to add some stormwater management on this, and then there's also some questions around the Tatlock Light, the field use, so we just wanted an opportunity to look at it. With the pending litigation, just didn't feel it was appropriate, so we're going to do it hopefully maybe this year, but if not, it's not anything too crazy, so we might be able to do it probably next year,
Are
right?
we making a motion to table?
Yes.
All right, so
they
so
can
there's a
make a
motion
motion
to
to
table.
table.
Do I have a
Yes.
second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll table that till the planning board looks at this again. All right, we've got a second ordinance for hearing. Madam Clerk, will you please read the Safety and Health Ordinance 25-3360?
An ordinance amending the code, Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-8, Parking, subsection 7-8.7, Parking prohibited at all times on certain streets.
Thank you so much. Councilman Boyer.
Thank you, Council President. As you just stated, this is 25-3360, and I would like to table this ordinance. Reason being is that on Bedford Road, there's an issue with the location of where we don't want parking. So we want to take another look at it, make sure we get it right.
And this is more than a Scrivener's error?
Yeah, I checked with our city solicitor, and it's more than a Scrivener's error.
Okay, so we'll go back and relook at this then.
Second.
So I hear a second?
Second?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll table that. Okay, that means we have no ordinances for final consideration. So that, we're going to move on to ordinances for introduction. Madam Clerk, will you please read the first one, Community Program and Parking Services Ordinance ID number 12213.
An ordinance amending Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-8, Parking, subsection 7-8.5, Parking time limited on certain streets, subsection 7-85B2, time limit parking zones of the Code of the City of Summit.
Thank you so much. Councilman Smallwood.
Thank you, Council President. This is ordinance number ID 12213, and this is to allow for additional parking that's open to the public. Our Parking Services Director has requested the council to amend the parking regulation on Park Avenue to convert 4 of the 6 employee permit spaces into 2-hour customer parking spaces. This change would maintain 2 spaces for all-day employee parking and provide 4 spaces for short-term paid parking for customers. I move to introduce this ordinance.
Second.
All right, seeing this is introduced, roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Ms. Hamlet?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
Mr. Smallwood?
Aye.
Ms. Toth?
Aye.
President McTiernan?
Aye. Motion carries. All right, Madam Clerk, will you please read the Safety and Health Ordinance for introduction, number 12238?
An ordinance amending the code, Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-8, Parking, subsection 7-8.4, stopping or standing prohibited during certain hours on certain streets.
Thank you so much. Councilman Boyer.
Thank you, Council President. This ordinance is going to be put in place or introduced for a hearing because from the area of Tulip Street to Colonial Drive, the visibility is really poor. I actually run that street almost, well, I used to, almost every day. And what happens is, this is right in front of Oak Knoll, all the way to Tulip. And what happens is that the cars are parked and the cars that are coming on oncoming traffic have to go around them. And that creates a hazard for everyone. So we like to restrict parking on that street.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Ms. Hamlet?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
Mr. Smallwood?
Aye.
Ms. Toth?
Aye.
President McTiernan?
Aye. Motion carries. All righty, we're moving right along. We're on to the resolution portion of our meeting. We have a few from Finance today. Councilwoman Toth, you want to do Finance number 1?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Resolution 12228 is a bit of housekeeping. When the Summit Housing Authority separated into its own entity, its payroll, benefits, and pension were no longer under city control. There were a couple of unresolved items that have been carried on the books for years. The city has a receivable of $28,599.66 for pension payments made on the Summit Housing Authority's behalf. And at the same time, the city owes the Summit Housing Authority $27,792.80 for an old health insurance premium. The Summit Housing Authority has paid the city the difference in those amounts, $806.86. So the two entities are even. And this resolution allows the Finance Department to remove the receivable and clear the account on the general ledger. I move to adopt this resolution.
I second.
All right, do I hear anyone from the public who wishes to comment on this resolution? Would anyone from council like to comment on this resolution? All righty, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Councilwoman Toth, Finance number 2.
Thank you, Council President. Resolution 12216 authorizes the city to renew its contract with Millennium Strategies, our grant writing consultant. This is the second one-year extension on its contract, and the maximum fee of $45,600 remains unchanged from 2025. This is for 2026. Through October, Millennium has assisted the city in securing 3 grants totaling $349,000, and that's not a bad return on investment. I move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Comments from the public? Comments from council? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Finance number 3, please, Councilwoman Toth.
Thank you, Council President. Resolution 12202 authorizes the city to contract with Wildcats and Company, LLC, to perform auditing services for 2026 and into 2027 as needed. The city had put out a request for proposals for these services and received 2 responses. Wildcats was the lower of the 2 bids at $56,000 and is the city's current auditor. They've served us well in the past. I move to adopt this resolution.
I second.
Comments from the public? Comments from council? All righty, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last finance resolution, please, Councilwoman
Okay.
Toth.
Thank you, Council President. Beginning in November each year, the city can move funds between accounts, from those with a surplus to those facing a deficit. This allows us to pay our bills while keeping our budget balanced. Resolution 12251 is the first of these, moving a total of $483,545. Most of the transfers stem from staffing. On the surplus side, there are unfilled positions in community services. On the deficit side, police department retirements have led to payouts of vacation and terminal leave that weren't in the budget. There are also overages for utilities, and department heads are investigating these. And finally, we've exceeded our budget for legal services. I move to adopt this resolution by roll call vote.
Second.
All right, comments from the public? Comments from council? I would just say our legal services are high this year. We deal with a lot of legal issues, and I think, to be prudent going forward, we live in a litigious world, sadly, that maybe for next year we budget a little more for this. Right? Councilman
Or we could
Smallwood?
just, or we could just eliminate frivolous lawsuits like Broad Street West and the Tatlock Place lawsuit.
Out of our control. All right, any other comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, roll call vote. I apologize.
Okay, Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Ms. Hamlet?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
Mr. Smallwood?
Aye.
Ms. Toth?
Aye.
President Nick.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, we're on to capital projects and community services. We have a few there. Councilwoman Hamlet, number 1, please.
Thank you, Council President. Sorry, it's on the wrong page. Okay. This is Resolution ID 12236, whereas the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, NJDEP, is administering the Resilient New Jersey Regional Assistance Program to support municipalities in identifying and addressing climate vulnerabilities through comprehensive community-led regional resilience actions plans. Basically, the city will be working with Township of Berkeley Heights, which will serve as the regional team prime, and other participating municipalities, including New Providence, Long Hill, Chatham, Scotch Plains, and Plainfield. The program supports the development of a comprehensive, community-led resilience action plan to address climate risks, promote green infrastructure, and support development strategies. And I'd like to move this resolution and perhaps ask Administrator Baldwin to just talk about, because I wasn't involved in that meeting, but I think this is going to be also looking at the Saltbrook area. So would you mind if she just gives a little brief description, because I wasn't.
Through you, Council President, Engineer Aaron Schrager and I were on a meeting with various municipalities. There is a resiliency grant through DEP that allows, it specifically calls for municipalities to work together. So you have to have at least 3 municipalities. You also have to have an outside organization. So New Providence kind of got everybody involved. Berkeley Heights is taking the lead on it. Also, Long Hill's involved. And so it's to come up with a resiliency plan along the tributaries of the Passaic River, which, of course, Saltbrook is one. And so all of these communities are affected by these tributaries. So there's going to be continuous meetings. The mayor is also on another. There's a couple of things going on with regard to these types of climate issues. So the mayor's on another coalition with other mayors from other municipalities that Mr. Schrager and I will also be involved with. So we're trying to attack it with the council, with the mayor from all angles to see what we can do to plan better and to try and get grants to help us assist where we can.
Thank you for the information. All right, do I hear a second for this resolution?
Second.
Thank you. Comments from the public? Comments from council? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Capital projects and community services, number 2. Councilwoman Hamlet, please.
Thank you, Council President. This is Resolution 12218, authorizing the execution of shared services agreement with Summit Board of Education, vehicle maintenance and repair services. This was pending closed session discussion. Give credit to Director Schrager for coordinating this. This is where the Summit Board of Education owns and operates vehicles for school district purposes, which require periodic maintenance and repairs. The city possesses the personnel, facilities, and equipment to provide vehicle maintenance and repair services. The parties desire to enter into an agreement pursuant to the Uniform Shared Services and Consolidation Acts to allow the city to provide vehicle maintenance services to the board to achieve efficiencies and cost savings. The city will charge the board at an hourly rate of the city's mechanics, and the agreement should be for 5 years. Either party may terminate the agreement of 90 days. Notice to the other party. So great job, Director Schrager, getting this done. I'd like to move this resolution.
Second.
Comments from the public? Comments from council?
I would just say one thing.
Yes, please.
Director Schrager has done a really good job at what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for?
Coordinating?
Coordinating our, updating our shared services agreements between the Board of Ed. It's really important because sometimes it just gets overlapping and messy. So I think the more of these that we can do, the better off everybody will be in the long run. And this ultimately be a good thing for the city and for the Board of Ed. So nice job.
Yeah, and I know we do a few of these with the Board of Ed. I mean, we're all one big happy family, obviously, even though they have separate budget than the municipality, as we've talked about ad nauseum. However, there are things that we can do together, and this is obviously a great example of that.
And I would say maybe one we can look to in the future for next year would be like the Tatlock garbage, because I get a lot of complaints after games and things like that. So I think the more things that are in writing, and so we don't have to ask questions all the time, would be helpful.
And Council President?
Yes,
just
Councilman
to,
Boyd.
We had mentioned this earlier in the year. It would be nice to have an agreement with the Summit Housing Authority as well. You know, they're on our property. Sometimes they use vehicles and walkways and different things. So we can work on that. That'd be great too.
Good idea. Other comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, last capital projects and community services resolution, Councilwoman Hamlet, please.
Thank you, Council President. This is Resolution 12237, whereas due to the resignation of the current building inspector, Adam Slufik, is necessary to declare a vacancy in the position of a full-time building inspector. Pursuant to Policy Section 5-1, Employment Procedure, Recruitment Vacancy is hereby declared for the position of full-time building inspector in the Department of Community Services, and that authorization is hereby given to the construction official to either offer this position to the next candidate on the eligibility list or to a current employee, or advertise same and provide testing if appropriate. So I'd like to move this resolution.
Second.
Thank you. Do I have anyone from the public who would like to comment? Comments from council? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're at the consent agenda portion of our meeting this evening. Do I hear a motion from any council person who would wish to move the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All right, comments from the public on anything on the consent agenda? Comments from council?
I just have a quick comment. I just want to
Yes,
ask
please.
City Administrator Tammy, I have a question on the authorization of certification for fees of special lien for 104 Beekman. Director Schrager, I know that we have to go there and do routine maintenance because they're of the tax situation with that property. But I guess my question is, do we get that money when the lien is released on the property? So there was a that was on current tax sale? So if that was on current tax sale, I guess my question would be, why doesn't that person who just got the tax sale have to pay for that now? Why don't we, because they just paid, you know what I mean?
Through you, Council President, we're just certifying this now. So every time that we go out there, we'll hopefully it's not going to be forever, but forever, however long that we have to go out there and maintain the property because they're not maintaining it, which is a separate issue from them not paying their taxes. But we will collect those and we'll have those certified. Then they'll be put into the tax lien sale. So when somebody purchases the tax lien, they will be paying those fees for them, and then they will collect them. So this is I don't know how, I mean, I guess it's public information. This happens frequently with this property. So somebody buys the tax lien and then they come in time to pay it off. So
I mean, this
Eventually
property
they'll
is,
pay for it.
it's a problem. It's, I mean, it is, I don't know if the Board of Health needs to go out, but it's constantly in disrepair. And I know our hands are sort of tied, but I mean, the roof is falling out. My children actually live in the house behind, and there's like rodents, and it is unsightly. And it's a shame because it's in a really nice neighborhood. So it's turned into a hazard. So I don't know how we handle that. I think Augusto had some ideas or something, but.
we can certainly have code enforcement go out and see
Yeah.
if there's any other issues
And I think,
besides the not maintaining the
Yeah.
the grass.
I guess there's
and-
nothing else we can do, right? Just keep mowing it.
Yes.
But they their door's falling off, and I don't know. Just drive
I'll
by
have-
there every day. and It's a
Yeah.
beautiful old home that's falling apart.
All right, Councilman Smallwood.
To that point, is there anyone living in that property?
No.
I mean, to me, it sounds like a great opportunity for outhouse.
Well, we would have to get involved in the tax lien. I don't think we could have done that, right?
So through you again, Council President, we are currently looking into, the municipal land use manager and myself, we just started discussing this option that Milburn has codified some process, which I'm looking into with their administrator, where they can actually purchase properties. The issue you have is that you have to collect all of your taxes. So if, let's say that we were able to, that we came up with a process, Milburn's using something, so I want to see what that is, because I'd very much like to do that if it's possible for us. We would have to buy the lien out or buy the taxes out to be able to purchase that property. And then perhaps someone like at our house or another type of affordable housing could come in. But there's a whole process to the tax sale and legally what we're allowed to do. So I have to do some more research on it and see if it's an option for us in the future.
Yeah, because tax liens, the property owner has X amount of time. It's usually like 2 years to cover their liens before you can auction the property. So I know it's a long, drawn-out process, and it's done for a reason.
Right,
So
and the
people don't
lien
like to
holders.
lose their property, but
Correct, and the lien holders buy them in hopes that they won't pay, and then they can take the property. So
Yeah.
it just, typically here, somebody always pays off their lien right before that is going to happen with a 18% premium.
Right.
So
yeah. Okay.
Thanks for looking into that.
Yep. All righty. Any other comments from council on the consent agenda? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, the consent agenda passes. All right, thank you, everyone. We're now on to our public comment sector. Thank you, city officials, for staying. At this time, would anyone from the public like to make a comment on anything that wasn't on the agenda? I would ask if you come up, state your name, your address, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Give other people an opportunity to speak as well.
Good evening, Council President, Mayor.
Good evening.
Since 3 minutes is only 3 minutes, and I can't go on for too long, 3 minutes is good for a song.
It's true.
So we're going to do that. I was saddened to find out that you lost Kevin and that you lost Delia. Yeah, it's unfortunate, and Tom as well. You guys are the better people, and you guys have integrity, and yeah. So this song's about Dan Crisofelli, and this will title it "Liar." As you see, I have a Dan is a liar tagged on my guitar. And I really have almost no business trying to play this song because I wrote it today. I had a different song written that I made up a couple days ago, anticipating a different outcome. And unfortunately, it left me scrambling while I was working today to jot down some lyrics and just come up with a different tune. So I'll go for it. When I was speaking at the meeting, he was bitching and just freaking, berating the chief because he did not stop my speech. He had already ran from questions, then ran straight to the detectives when people wanted to get information before the election. At the ballot box, Summit should have gave him the boot. It fell and the truth took root. Dan's campaign should have died at the moment that he lied. The voters should have said, no way, it's time to go. At the ballot box, Summit should have given him. This is why I shouldn't write a song the same day. At the ballot box, Summit should have said no way. Dan had hoped he would acquire more votes, but he was a liar. And I had came here today, congratulate Kevin on a win. Dan had added a false component, tried to tie me to his opponent. I hope he never forgets the moment that he lied. Hoping to acquire some more votes, he manufactured a complete hoax. That type of coward should never seek elected power.
Just wrap your song up, please.
Thank you.
Thank you for your song. Other comments from the public?
And I just want to add, it's not over till everything's counted. So, anyway, I want to say,
Philomena, could you just,
Eric.
I just want to say, Philomena, everyone has acted with grace and integrity, so thank you very much. Now, point I need to make. When it comes to emergency services, we need to, Summit needs to look into putting, being able to stop. You got that tune in my head now, I can't think. Being able, emergency vehicles need to be able to stop the traffic lights. They need to be able to turn the lights red so that, Lord forgive, there's a family that's trying to cross, they have the light, and you have an emergency vehicle, you have a chase going on, you have whatever the circumstances, and whatever the case, the emergency vehicles need to be able to turn the lights red, okay? So Summit needs to, going forward, they need to be able to look into putting that into the budget. Okay? Thank you.
thank you for your comments.
And again, it's not over till it's over.
Thank you. Other comments from the public? All right, I'm going to close our public comment section of our meeting, and we're on to council member comments and new business. Would anyone like, from council like to comment? Councilwoman Toth.
Thank you, Council President. Councilmember Comments asked me to read this statement in her absence. Congratulations to Summit's own recycling hero, Mimi Zukoff. Mimi recently received the Volunteer Citizen Award from the Department of Environmental Protection's Recycling Awards program. She received this award for her collaboration with Book Smiles to keep used books out of the waste stream. In 2024 alone, Book Smiles collected 21,000 pounds of books from the book barn at Summit's transfer station, which were reused or saved from the waste stream. Through a continuing collaboration with Book Drop, Mimi's action saved Summit money by reducing the tipping fees spent on disposing of these excess books. In addition to chairing the Recycling Advisory Committee, Mimi brings her expertise and volunteerism to the Environmental Commission and the Summit Free Market Steering Committee. So thank you to Mimi for your tireless work and dedication to our city.
Great, that's fantastic news. Awesome. Other comments from council members? Oh, Councilman Smallwood.
Thank you. First, I just would like to echo the mayor's comments earlier that I wanted to thank everyone who came out to vote yesterday, although it wasn't necessarily the outcome that I had hoped for. But I will continue to serve the city of Summit for the rest of my term here, and will encourage others to vote and step up and raise their hand in the future. This is one of the the greatest honors I've had. So, thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Councilman Pulowski.
Yeah, so I don't have anything specific on the election, except that, win or lose, it's worth it. And I want to read a quote from Teddy Roosevelt. "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, and who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." And that's he or she.
Yeah, that's one of the best quotes about public service ever made. So thank you for sharing that. It's very relevant. Thank you. Other comments from public? Councilwoman Hamlet.
I just have a couple. One, thank you to all the city employees and poll workers who came out this week. It was, Rosie, I don't know how you do it. You work all the time, especially having a council meeting. I would highly recommend I think Director Schrager recommended maybe in November next year we only have one meeting, which I think that might be a good idea because it's hard to come back off, tough campaign season and then you have the election day, and then you're as much as we're back here. So I just wanted to mention thank you. We're still counting the votes, but I'd like to congratulate all the candidates. It seems like the voters voted, for the Democratic Party, and I would hope that we can all work together going forward. So well done. I would like to say that I think something that I'd like to look at is I think that we can all probably agree that the politics this season was a little rough. It's rough on the employees. It's tough on the staff, and it divides neighbors. So I think it would be interesting to look at maybe nonpartisan elections. And I think that the voters, I think we should potentially put it on as a referendum. I think it is a huge detriment to the city staff. It's demoralizing to watch neighbors who are Republicans, Democrats, and independents arguing and fighting. I think it's just a huge detriment for the town. As someone who's now gone through 2 campaigns, it's just not a good thing. I think you really want to get to vote for the person, not the party. And I'd like to see us try to get that ball across the goal line before our time's up. And let the voters decide. So a couple things I want to accomplish in my next 45 days. I'll keep a running list. I think it's imperative that all of us up here, with the exception of Claire, were elected to overcome Broad Street West. And elections have consequences, right? And there could be a potential that all the work we've done on the overlay zone and getting the property up for sale could be gone. So I've asked for a very specific timeline from the council president in writing. I would like to work with the city clerk and the city administrator, and I've offered to quarterback help. I know Mike's busy working, and I don't know how you have any more hours, but I've offered to single-handedly quarterback that and help in any way I can. It can be my project for the next 45 days. I might need something to take my mind off the election. But I think it's really important to explain to the public where we're at in that process. So right now, we just selected a broker. Is that correct, Mike? There is a timeline within that, but I think it's important to share that. And Mike, I would just suggest maybe we talk about it at the next council meeting and put a very specific timeline together. I'm not trying to be a pain, but it's really important to me, and it's why we all got elected.
It's important to me, too.
And then I would say the Salt Brook. Tammy, I just want to see where we're at with the Salt Brook and finding the access to get in there to fix that area.
Through you, Council President, it's my understanding that the City Solicitor Office is drawing up, I don't know if Ron can opine on that. I know we're meeting with Law and Labor tomorrow, but we're drawing up the agreements with the 2 property owners. I think that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, we are.
So we've contacted the property owner. The property owner has been in contact.
Yes,
Okay.
that I know for a fact.
Okay, that's my
Yes.
concern. Because I think it's really important that we get that done as well. Just so that everybody knows, we have spent a lot of time in the last 7 to 10 days, I would say working with PSE&G, New Jersey American Water. I don't know if you noticed, but last time they paved, there weren't like orange paint, there was not orange paint around the manholes, there weren't cones, it was like a complete disaster in some areas, and I felt badly because there was nothing we could do. But we've expressed sincere dissatisfaction with some of those contractors, and we are requesting, more scrutiny around those inspections from the city because it has become a dangerous situation for a lot of the kids. But we're making progress. Springfield Avenue looks great. So I just want to say thank you to Director Schrager and the team and for coordinating all of that work. So, and most of it will be done. A lot of it will be done this week. Lowell and Beekman sort of look good. So the alternative is we would have had to wait till the spring. So I know it was a pain, but we did the best we could. So that's it. I didn't plan on speaking, but.
Thank you. Other comments from council?
Really quickly.
Councilman Boyer.
So, Delia, Kevin, and Tom, but right now, particularly Delia and Kevin, I didn't know them when I was elected, but we fought so many battles together for this town, and Delia and Kevin, like myself and Bob, we have children, and we spend a lot of time away from our children. Some of the criticism and the hurtful words that you hear online, and some of our kids are in high school and stuff. It affects us, but we do it because we love this town. But then, there's moments like this when there's a potential that you lose an election. You look at your children, and there's this gut feeling that you may have lost 2 years, and it's a painful reality. And I thank you both, because I see you. I see what both of you have done. And I see the sacrifice that that you both have, with your children. And and to the possible, new members of council, congratulations, right? Sometimes the win is pushing you forward, and you can win the race, but that same win can turn around and you can lose the race. But whatever the final tally, all who ran, whether win, lose, or draw, will leave a legacy on this town. And so we will greet the new council with open hands if that happens. And we'll press on because there's work that needs to be done. And lastly, I'll say we don't, torch the rule book because the scoreboard tilts against us. We honor the game, right? We shake hands across the aisle, and we get back to work because we're all hilltoppers at the end of the day. So if it happens to go the other way, I just want to say thank you both for your service.
Thank you. Other comments? Yeah, I'll just wrap it up. 2 things. One, I wanted to say thank you to DPW. Bob, the dog park at the dump is much nicer. My dogs have been enjoying it. So it's been cleaned up. It's been great. It still exists, the Matt Gould Dog Park. If you're ever at the dump, it's a nice spot to bring your dogs.
But it won't be open this weekend because of the free market.
Okay. Yeah, and then to follow up on Councilwoman Hamlet's comment, we will see something on the agenda for next meeting around the Broad Street West property, and it's a frustratingly slow process. I get it, and I get the frustration. But you keep pushing the rock up the hill as fast as you can go. Some people may not be happy with the speed the rock goes up the hill, and I don't know what to tell them. As Teddy Roosevelt said, you do your best. And, if people don't like it, I'll take the criticism. But it will happen, and, we'll have a timeline, and people will know about it, and, we are committed to transparency around the process, and people will know what we're doing. And like I said, we tried to be transparent from the start around this thing, and we will continue to do so. So that is my comment.
Council President,
Yes, Councilman Smallwood.
I would like to enthusiastically make a motion to adjourn.
I didn't know you do this all the time.
Second.
Really? Oh, my gosh. Okay. Do I, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.